Another day, another Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, and let me tell you guys is that this year it wasn't very kind with for Marvel, I gotta say. I mean, I've been hearing a lot of the mixed results slash reviews or negative attention that Disney Plus series are having. Just to let you know, I haven't seen WandaVision, nor Loki, nor what was the Winter Soldier and the Falcon. None of them I have seen. I'm not even watching Hawkeye. Honestly, I almost never watch any of the Marvel TV series. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't. I think they don't have kind of like the same impact as I do with the other, the movies. And let's not forget that also this year it wasn't very kind also in the movies. We had Black Widow, which was shit, and of course Black Widow has also that that behind the scene problems with Scarlett Johansson suing the company. We have Shang-Chi, in which despite people liking it, I personally thought it sucked. It sucked because Awkwafina and what was it, Ben Kingsley ruined the movie for me. And then of course we also had the Eternals. The Eternals suck because it was boring. So technically, this was a horrible year for Marvel. And they just had one more chance to do it right. And that is with Spider-Man, No Way Home. And honestly, I was anticipating this one because I love Spider-Man. I did grew up with the movies ever since the first Tobey Maguire film, and this one it did kind of make the promise that it's gonna bring out some of those elements into that film in order to to make the multiverse plot points from the Marvel universe. So I was actually anticipating this one. And guess what? I had a little bit of kind of like a week filled with depression. I had a week filled with disappointments, and also some few responsibility. Like for example, let's say that I got a little bit sick one of these days. So and I tried to give my best to watch this new movie, and all the movie theaters were packed, and I didn't want it too much to go in a packed house, mostly because we are in pandemic, and I was a little bit kind of hesitant to do that. Until finally, also, yeah, it was a whole packed film. I couldn't get even tickets for good seats until a nice family member called me and said that, hey, we're going to watch Spider-Man. Wanna come? Yeah. So I'm now talking to you at 3 a.m. in the morning because it was kind of like a big trip to go to the movie theaters. And let me tell you, man, that I know that there is this superhero movie fatigue in a lot of people. I might have a little bit, but I can still enjoy a movie when it is. But I can tell you that, man, that Spider-Man No Way Home was exactly kind of like the remedy that I needed. I came out really liking this movie. I really like it. This is actually what Marvel needed, because after so many stuff that are happening in the Marvel movies that there is, it kind of felt like it kind of forgot that, well, it's a superhero movie. You have to be silly, fun. It's fun. It has to have some good writing on character build-ups, and this one did. This one did, and not only does that, but it also gives out some closures to even the other Spider-Man movies that we felt a little bit incomplete. You know, the original trilogy and the Amazing Spider-Man films. So that one felt, that one indeed felt like something. And just like always, I'm always kind of struggling to talk about this movie without, you know, spoiling, because I don't like to spoil too much, and especially when it's about Marvel movies, except when they deserve it. The least I could say is that, of course, the movie takes place after the last Spider-Man movie, you know, Far From Home, in which, you know, Mysterio exposes Peter Parker that he's Spider-Man. James Jonah Jameson turns Spider-Man into public enemy #1, and technically Peter's life alongside MJ and Ned, they are treated kind of like a reality show stars, and they're not left alone, and it becomes interfering with them, until Peter gets kind of like the idea to ask for Doctor Strange to find a way to make some kind of magic in order to make people forget who he is. But because he's a little bit too much of a wishy-washy, it backfires, and then of course it accidentally brings villains from the other Spider-Man movies into their universe, which it could be cataclysmic for, you know, the other universes, because the balance and everything. And well, there we go. That's technically the whole premise that I could tell you without spoiling it, and it is as it is what you expect. It's still treated, you know, like the Marvel movies, although I am glad that they did tone down some of the stuff that kind of make the movie a little bit cringy, except that there's still, you know, the typical Marvel humor that you either take it or leave it. That's pretty much I could say a little bit without spoiling too much about the movie. It's no mystery that a lot of these actors are really solid. Tom Holland, as youthful as it is, I do like him, and I can see a lot of hope on this guy. You know, and seeing him in other works. For example, I do remember that he did kind of like a solid job as a voice actor in Spies in Disguise, from what I can remember. I'm actually gotta applaud that they did kind of like the extra effort to bring all these actors from the other movies to reprise their roles. Like, for example, they brought what was the name? They brought Alfred Molina back to play Dr. Octavius from Spider-Man 2. They brought even William Dafoe to play Norman Osborn / Green Goblin. I don't remember the name of the actor, but he played Sandman and Alder the Reptile from Amazing Spider-Man. And I am surprised that they brought Jamie Foxx as Electro too, considering that I never liked Jamie Foxx in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, because he was kind of like a little bit too silly or too creepy to take him too seriously. I mean, he was creepy on Amazing Spider-Man 2, but not in the way that you think about it, that it's creepy. I mean, creepy in the way that it was kind of like cringy. Let's say that he had kind of like these stalker vibes, but now he kind of had like this new look. And whether you like it or not, I think that they made him a little bit overly serious. But you know what? I take that version better than what they did in Amazing Spider-Man 2. Although, really, I do have to comment that one of my family members did admit that she really liked the performance of Willem Dafoe, and because she bought him that he was creepy, and he does it. You can tell that a lot of these actors, they did they still have their touch on these characters, and it shows. I know that I know that some of the dialogue and some of the stuff they had to blend it into the style of this Marvel Cinematic Universe, but I didn't mind. I didn't mind too much. There are indeed cameos and special guests, of course, but honestly, if I have to go there, I might be spoiling too much, but I will say that the other guys, let's say that some of these cameos and special guest appearances they did great. They did great. I'm actually kind of happy that they also have J.K. Simmons reprised as role as Jonah Jameson. We also have, of course, Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange, and no surprise there. That's all I have to go with the acting. Nothing special I will say about, of course, the cinematography, because it's typical Marvel stuff. And you know that when you watch too many movies and get used to special effects and all these things, you know that they're always gonna do great stuff. With there is one fight scene that I really like, in which it showcased some of the good special effects. What else I can talk about this movie? How about that? I really liked the pacing of the story and some of the elements that they do. In which, first of all, you get a solid story in which it basically makes Peter Parker, you know, this kind boy who makes decisions, but it's not dumb decisions. He just does it because he's a little bit too kind-hearted. But well, sometimes when you're too kind, it backfires. Sometimes you have to do the right thing in the right way, and it shows him. You see this Peter Parker, you know, grow as a better person. As a better person, and well, there is, and also he gets caught up in an incident that makes him even better. That's much I have to say. What else what else there is? I also want to say that sometimes, if I had to be a little bit on the negative side, is that. Remember that I told you that the humor can be a little bit too Marvel and sometimes self-referential? Well, at this one, kind of like a take it or leave it. Although they're not as bad as sometimes you used to see. For example, I'd rather have the ones that it goes there because I had to suffer through this through the cringiness from what was it, from Shang-Chi as well as Black Widow. And let's not forget that the Eternals was also try hard, but it was boring as hell. Although some of them, of course, are kind of referential, like a little bit kind of making references to the other movies, kind of like let's say like fans bantering about the pros and cons of that one. Although I do also like that there is a moment in which they kind of make a reference to Miles Morales. Although everything was fine, but there was only one moment that actually felt like a punch on my face, and that is in which that one I wouldn't mind spoiling it. In which it was the moment in which Peter just puts a Lego of the Emperor Palpatine from Star Wars, kind of like saying that hey, we're Disney, we also got Star Wars. You know, the way I was talking and feeling like I'm kind of a little bit overhyping this movie, I know that it may sound that I was just kind of got hooked with nostalgia glasses here and there, because when you think about it, this is a movie that kind of a little bit did rely upon, you know, nostalgia, but this is one of those that it was done actually right, and honestly, I liked how it brought some kind of closure to even the other Spider-Man films. And honestly, I find it better. That one they did a better job than what they did in Ghostbusters Junior. Because honestly, when I think back, Ghostbusters Junior was kind of a little bit of a novel attempt, but the way they kind of honor it, it felt. I don't know, there was something missing about this, but this one it got kind of like a better effort, I'll say. It kind of makes you question how they the length they had to go with. Oh wait, in order to get the rights of these people, why do I question me? We're talking about a company that can do almost anything. But either way, this movie, it kind of felt like this is something that it needed, considering that for the range from mediocre to below average material that came out this year. Oh yeah. You know what? The funny thing is that I remember at the beginning I did mention kind of like a big list of all the Marvel stuff that I have seen or not seen. Oh my god, I was so dumb to forget that I did that this year also came out Venom, the Venom. The Venom movie, you know, with the one with Carnage. Oh, you let there be Carnage, let there be Carnage. And man, for some reason I forgot that this movie kind of even existed. And I did remember that I gave it kind of a little bit of a small positive. Well, now that I think about it, the only good thing about the Venom movie is kind of like the ending. The best way I can say is that, well, that final moment with Venom, it kind of pay off. Let's say that it kind of pay off. This is something for the mid-credit scenes, like they usually do. Although I do want to tell you something, and this is I don't think this is spoils, because probably it's gonna show up sooner or later. But here's the thing, you know, remember that it is tradition of Marvel movies that after the movie ends, you get kind of like the initial credits, and then you get the mid-credit scenes. And then you see the longer credits, and then you see another scene of the movie, which could be something that it could be a teaser for the next hero or the next movie, or probably a small joke or something like that. Well, guess what? The final after credits movie is a whole trailer for the next Doctor Strange movie. I am not kidding. It's a whole trailer. And it makes me eager because there is kind of like a curious character that is gonna appear. I'm not gonna dare to tell you what it is, but wow. So overall, I will say that I did have fun with Spider-Man No Way Home. So I had a lot of fun. The people, and I know that the people surrounding me were actually pretty excited. They applauded, they cried in the moments that it needed. It felt a little bit kind of like a real love letter to the other Spider-Man movies, saying that, well, you had their pros and their cons, but at the end of the day, you guys were Spider-Man. So it's something to be proud of, I'll say. And sometimes they can find, well, they also, let's say that they find kind of like other solutions to some of the stuff that happened in these movies. I might, and yeah, if you ask me, I will say that I do like the first Spider-Man movie, the Sam Raimi one. I did like Tobey Maguire. I thought Andrew Garfield was a little bit, how can I say, too old for the role of those movies. Amazing Spider-Man 2 didn't help because of some problem in the writing. And let's not forget that I don't like Spider-Man 3. Let's say about that. Well, I think this is all I have to say about this film. You know what? I'm still dragging on, but for me, this is something that I know that I feel like I am overhyping it. I just came back from the movie. I feel I had some great enjoyment on this one. So if you are, you can check it out if you are still curious about the superhero genre, even though this is now a little bit of a dying breed of movies. But you know what? I don't mind. I don't mind. It's just watching movies is it's just something about me, because you know, great powers take great responsibility.